Hello, I was searching for scholarships and fellowships for Indian people, those who are residing abroad. So I've got to know one excellent opportunity. So I encountered a scholarship named Ramanjun Fellowship. Basically, Ramanjun Fellowship is meant for brilliant Indian scientists and engineers who are from outside the India to take up the scientific research position in India. Well, this is an opportunity for everyone who is brilliant scientist or engineer who want to return back to the home country and can work here in the reputed institutions. Well, the eligibility criteria says that you must be having a higher degree or equivalent such as a PhD in science or engineering or even master in engineering or technology or even MD in medicine, etc. Well, you should also have an adequate professional experience. But the thing is that the upper limit of the age is 40 years at the time of submission of the application. This is the excellent opportunity because these things are rarely known to any. And I thought of sharing this because there is a huge population residing outside India. Well, these scholarships are very selective in nature, and only those who have a proven outstanding track record, as evident from their research publication and recognition, would be eligible. So, one should have a proper research publications in a well-reputed journals or research papers. In the case the selected fellow gets any position such as permanent tenure track or contractual position, he or she will become ineligible for receiving fellowship including research grant and overhead. Well, this is something that you should keep in mind. For example, if you get a permanent position or contractual position in a institute, then you won't be eligible for this fellowship. Moreover, you will have to relinquish the Ramanjun fellowship in total. It is strictly mentioned that this fellowship is only meant for scientists who are not holding any permanent tenure track or contractual position in any Indian institute or university. Suppose you are residing abroad, but you are working remotely for the Indian university as on a contract basis. So this is not meant for you. So the duration, if I talk of duration for this scholarship, then it may last as long as 5 years, but under no circumstances it may be extended. Well, now we talk of support benefits which the candidate will get if she or he gets selected. The amount of fellowship would be 1,35,000 per month, including HRA. And the second benefit is that each fellow will, in addition, receive a research grant of rupees 7 lakh per annum. This research grant is meant for items including but not limited to consumables, travel, research personnel, and contingencies, and rupees 60,000 per annum as overhead charges. So this is something which is given to the institutes, the overhead charges for electricity, space, accommodation, etc. The last benefit is that the Ramanjun Fellows will be eligible for receiving regular research grant through the extramural funding schemes of various S&Ts, agencies of Government of India. Well, this does not bound you to not apply for other scholarships or grants schemes. You may apply, and if you get selected, they will have no problem with this. Let me talk of a methodology for nomination and selection for this wonderful scheme. The scientist can choose to work at any S&T institution, including university departments or other academic institutions or national laboratories in India, provided the institution at which they wish to pursue research is willing to provide the necessary administrative and R&D basic infrastructure. Well, this fellowship is meant for working in new areas and laboratories which are in emerging field and in order to expand their research capability. But it should not conflict with the it should not be the same as from which the student has obtained his or her doctorate degree. For example, you have obtained your doctorate degree from IISc Bangalore, then you won't be able to apply for this fellowship in the same institute. Nomination from PhD guides of the candidate and nomination from the same institute where they have opted their PhD will not be considered. This is the most important criteria you should look for. So I would suggest everyone to vouch for such opportunity because these are wonderful opportunities out there. Individual scientists and technologists should approach the institution of his or her choice for hosting them for the fellowship and forwarding their nomination to SARB for the fellowship. So the procedure is like that. The A student who wants to apply for this fellowship will cannot apply directly. He or she should approach the institution in which he wants to carry on the research work, and from the hosting institution, the nomination would be forwarded to the SERB for the fellowship. Selection of Ramanujan Fellows will be made periodically by an empowered search cum selection committee, especially appointed for this purpose. They have mentioned that there is a separate committee which will look after the application and will select the deserving candidates. Well, there is no deadline for this fellowship. Nominations are accepted throughout the year. So the procedure is simple. Firstly, you will have to nominee have to register in the SERB online portal, which is www.serbonline.in. After logging in, nominee need to fill up all the mandatory details in profile section under user profile, which includes photo, institution, etc. Under the form submission, choose scheme. Under scheme, choose Ramanjun Fellowship and fill up the nomination form, including details of nominee qualifications and your nominated details. Furthermore, you have to declare the proposed area of research and brief outline of proposal of nominee to be uploaded in single PDF file, not more than 5 pages. So PDF file must be under more equal to or less than 5 pages. After filling the details, nominee should click on send to nominator. This is something which is essential because nominator will get the notification via email with a link to serve online portal to view the filled in Ramanjun Fellowship nomination form. This is something like a recommendation letter type thing in which a candidate fill up the form, the recommender receives the notification, and the further procedure is done by the recommender itself. Nominator can choose to submit the nomination to the SERB or resend the form to the nominee for any revision. Once submitted, nominee and nominator will receive intimation regarding successful submission. It is as simple as that. The documents which are required are in prescribed format. They must be in PDF format first of all, and secondly, they must be. You have to download a plagiarism undertaking. CB of the nominee is must. Nomination on the letterhead duly signed and stamp is must. That is something you should take care of. Now deep dive into the frequently asked questions. Firstly, this the question is the research grant received under this fellowship is taxable? Yes, as per the IT rules, the grant would be taxed. The second question is that the whom the fellowship is meant for, or what is it? The fellowship is meant for brilliant Indian scientists and engineers from all over the world. See, Indian scientists from all over the world. So whether you are residing in America, whether you are residing in Washington DC, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Hong Kong, whether you are in anywhere, it doesn't matter. All you need to have is a nationality of India, and it is specifically for those to take up the scientific position in India and for those Indian scientists who want to return to India from abroad. This fellowship is scientist specific and very selective. So those who are good in studies from day one and have become scientists or good brilliant engineers, then you should definitely apply for it. And the areas of science in the broadest terms are covered by this fellowship. It means that all areas which are predominantly occupied by science are covered under this fellowship. The fellows can work in any of the scientific institution and university in the country other than the institute where he or she has obtained the doctorate degree. The sixth question is Ramanjun Fellowship eligible for core research grant? Yes, it is eligible to apply for the core research grant proposal. Eligibility I have already discussed, so no, I won't bifurcate it again and again. The individual started. So this is something which may you can read easily. All it requires a letter from the nominator to the SERB. It is SERB's responsibility to give up the consolidated fellowship of 1,35,000 per month, including HRA component per month. Well, this is something most important thing. Can a person avail grants under Ramanjun Fellowship and salary from institute at the same time? No, a person can't opt either to avail his salary from the institute or fellowship amount. It is applicable to fellows who have started the fellowship on or before sanction date. Fellows who get a permanent position after issuance of a bill relinquish the Ramanjun Fellowship in total in case they get salary for. So under no circumstances you would draw salary from your institution. Otherwise, you will have to return the whole amount of this fellowship. So these were the terms and conditions. How many times a person can avail international travel per year in Ramanjun Fellowship? So a person can avail one international travel per year under Ramanjun Fellowship. It's one international travel per year. Whether Ramanjun Fellowship gets the subsequent grants. You may read this. What payments can be made to the project staff? The project staff can be paid as per the SARBACO order issued time to time. Can an Indian scientist working in India under a permanent position can be nominated? No. Ramanujam Fellowship is, as I already said, is meant for reverse brain drain. It means inviting brilliant Indian scientists and engineers who want to return to India from abroad to take up scientific position in India. So the brain drain is a thing which is happening quite a lot these days. Brilliant students from India are migrating from their own nation to other developed nations in search of work. This renders India talentless. So the motto is to reverse the brain drain. Is the time duration. So the time duration must join the candidate must join their host institute within 6 months from the issue of Ramanjun Fellowship award letter, else the award will be cancelled automatically. This is something you need to keep in mind. Institute can nominate Indian scientists for Ramanjun Fellowship only from outside India, having no position or employment in India. This is something you should take care of. No Indian person, no one who is residing in India is fit for this opportunity. And the SERB recommended Ramanjun Fellows is equivalent to Scientist D for the TA and DA. This is something which you should keep in mind. So last is that CRB encourages Ramanjun Fellow to get guideship at their respective host institute based on the applicant research experience, so then they can supervise MPhil PhD scholars which will help them in their academic development. So that was all about Ramanjun Fellowship, a rare program which is known to lesser people. Well, I have told each and everything briefly. Anyone those who are perfectly eligible must apply for this to reverse brain drain. Allow me to leave.